I call upon the first negative speaker, Liam Higgins.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate tonight is that the Royal Adelaide Show has lost its wonder. We agree with the definition given by the affirmative team, but we would like to define wonder as the feeling of enjoyment and amazement when confronted with something unfamiliar. The first affirmative speaker told you that it's all about the business, it's all about the money. But why would you go to... But this is wrong, because why would there, at the Adelaide Show, be so many things for free? You don't go to the show if you don't expect to spend. Today, as first speaker, I'll be talking to you about how the show has such a wide variety of attractions and how the Royal Adelaide Show is South Australia's version of a theme park. I'll also tell you about how the show was given an extra day in 2014. Our second speaker will talk to you about how attendance and entry figures have increased and how competitions are a huge part of the show. Our third speaker will rebut and sum up our team case. My first point is that the Royal Adelaide Show has such a wide variety of attractions. There is something there to create wonder for everyone. According to the official website of the Royal Adelaide Show, in the 5 pavilions and the showgrounds, there are almost 500 different stalls to go and visit. There are 23 performances to go to over the course of the week, some for the kids to enjoy, some for the adults, some for the whole family. If you get hungry while we're there, it won't take long to find a place to grab a bite to eat. And then there's the carnival area, with 28 rides for those who are tall enough and 17 for those who aren't. And we can't forget the show bag hall, where there are truckloads of show bags ranging from $2 to $50. There are oodles of animals of all different breeds at the show that you can go to and see. There is also all different kinds of competitions, which our second speaker will talk about in more detail. These are most of the attractions available to view or ride on at the Royal Adelaide Show, most of which have not been experienced by all, hence creating wonder. My second point is that the Royal Adelaide Show is South Australia's version of a theme park. Here in South Australia, we have some great water parks and some great adventure parks, but we don't have any amusement parks. There are a large amount of country shows in South Australia which all hold similar rides and that kind of thing, but some of them are slowly dying out. As I mentioned before, the Royal Adelaide Show holds 45 rides to go on. That's the biggest collection of rides compared to every other show in South Australia. The Royal Adelaide Show is South Australia's version of a theme park. This means that the show presents the public of South Australia with a newer experience, creating a feeling of wonder. My final point is that the Adelaide Show has been extended to a 10-day show instead of a 9-day show. An article written by Adelaide Now in late 2013 states that in 2014 they will be extending the time frame of the Royal Adelaide Show to give the public an extra opportunity to visit the show. This is another opportunity to experience wonder at the Royal Adelaide Show. To conclude, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, we, the negative team, believe that the Royal Adelaide Show still holds a couple of pavilions worth of wonder left. Thank you.
I call upon the second affirmative speaker, Ryan Milne.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic of our debate is that the Royal Adelaide Show has lost its wonder. We, the affirmative team, believe that this statement is true. The first negative speaker tried to tell you that the show has various pavilions and performances to attract people to come. But all these attractions will only create stress, as it is impossible to reach all of them. He also tried to tell you that it is the theme park of South Australia, but there is the Semaphore amusement park, which is open all throughout the year, not just 10 days. Tonight, our first speaker, Matthew, has talked to you about the huge expenses of the show and how its focus has moved from natural produce towards selling tacky products. I will be talking to you about 2 points. My first point is that the show no longer has anything unique to offer. We used to go to the show for new experiences. Now all of them can be found elsewhere, often for a cheaper price. Children can view farm animals at any time throughout the year at petting zoos across South Australia. The Hahndorf Farm Barn offers all of the show's farm experiences and much more for a family ticket price that is much cheaper than the show's entry fee. There are even mobile petting zoos that will come to children's parties, taking the wonder from what used to be a highlight unique to the annual show. Rides have also lost their wonder, as almost everyone tall enough to go on a ride has certainly gone on similar or better ones elsewhere. Rides are available at any time of the year at places like Semaphore Amusement Park and the Beach House, without the show's exhausting crowds and exorbitant entry fee. Want demonstrations of things you don't normally do? Just push a button on YouTube. Virtually nothing is unique to the show anymore. My second point is that the once carefree and fun atmosphere of the show has been replaced with stress. The show is now characterised by claustrophobic crowds and queues. And as if this wasn't enough, there are extra concerns of safety. Security checks will be enforced to protect the patrons from an attack. There will be bag searches, which will make the queues even worse. There will be added police and barriers, which will continually remind people about the terrorism threat, eliminating the natural feeling of wonder. As for the rides, there have been numerous accidents and deaths in recent times at the show. In 2000, 37 people were hurt at the show when a ride collapsed and dropped a heavy carriage onto queuing riders. In 2006, a teenager was injured when the ride carriage she was in fell. In 2014, an 8-year-old died after being thrown from a ride at the show. The wonder of the show has further been destroyed by these sad fatalities and injuries. In conclusion, the Royal Adelaide Show has definitely lost its wonder. Gone are the carefree and unique experiences. Instead, the show offers nothing special in a nerve-wracking and emotionally draining environment. The show used to be wonderful. Now it's just stressful. Thank you.
call upon the second negative speaker, Nick Liebelt.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate is that the Royal Adelaide Show has lost its wonder. We, the negative team, have absolutely no doubt that this statement is false. The second speaker from the affirmative team has tried to tell you that trying to visit all the performances and rides in the show can cause stress. This is wrong because, of course it will cause stress. Why would you need to visit all the attractions at the show anyway? That's just silly. He also said that safety precautions cause stress and remind people of ongoing terrorism attacks. This is incorrect because these precautions are only for safety. What would happen if all these precautions were not in place? Think about it. Our first speaker has already talked to you about how the show has a very wide variety of attractions and how the Royal Adelaide Show is Adelaide's version of a theme park. He also told you about how the show was given an extra day in 2014. Today, as second speaker, I will be talking to you about how record participation in competitions held at the show and strong attendance rates prove that the Royal Adelaide Show has not lost its wonder. Our third speaker will rebut and sum up the team case. Now to my arguments. My first point is that participation rates in the competitive arena of the show are at record highs, both reflecting the ongoing wonder of the show and having the potential to create further wonder. One of the charters of the show is to showcase and encourage primary production. According to the president of the Royal Agricultural and Horticultural Society of SA, who run the show, in 2016, a record 33,784 entries were received across the 62 competitive sections, which showcase food, botany, animals, and various crafts, with a steady increase in interest over the last decade. In a 5AA radio interview on Friday afternoon, the president of the show also stated that this year, over 25 new activities would be available for people to watch and enjoy. If more and more people are choosing to participate in these new contests and competitions, and they are being added each year, how can we even postulate that the wonder of the show has been lost? What's more, in this technology-orientated, increasingly urban population, how can an agriculturally based show not fail to be wonder-filled? There are many animals that children growing up may have never seen that can be witnessed at this show. Imagine their faces when they get to pet a sheep or a rabbit for the very first time. Wonderful, isn't it? My second point for tonight is that the attendance rates at the Royal Adelaide Show have not declined. This year marks the 242nd show since 1839. Surely the best measure of continued wonder of the show is people voting with their feet and still attending. According to the Royal Adelaide Show's 2016 annual report, the average number of attendants each year is roughly 500,000 over the show period. Predicted attendance this year from the show's website is estimated at just under 600,000 attendants. That's over 1/3 of our state's population. This is the highest pro rata out of any royal show in Australia. If this magnificent show has lost its wonder, why would all these people continue to flock there, especially in such difficult economic times? Statistics relating to the show's social media footprint also confirm the population's ongoing love affair with the show, with over 1.8 million visitors to the show's website last year, and over 80,000 followers on the show's Facebook page currently. So, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, record participation rates in the show's competitive area and high attendance rates shows that despite what the opposition has tried to tell you, there is no doubt that this magnificent show continues to be wonder-filled. Thank you.
I call upon the third affirmative speaker, Cameron Coggins.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for this debate is that the Royal Adelaide Show has lost its wonder. We, the affirmative team, believe that this statement is true. The first negative speaker has tried to tell you that the time frame of the Royal Adelaide Show was extended, therefore the show still has wonder. This is wrong, as just because the time frame was extended does not mean the show still has wonder. It only allows more time for people to purchase junk food and plastic goods. The first negative speaker has also tried to tell you that the show has a large show bag hold, therefore inspiring wonder. This is wrong, as the show having such a large variety of show bags only inspires the desire to purchase wasteful plastic toys and unhealthy food. The first negative speaker has also tried to tell you that the show has such a wide variety of rides, and this means that the show still has wonder. This is wrong, because as our second speaker has told you, the show rides have a terrible safety record. Therefore, any thrills of going on the rides are overshadowed by the risk of death or injury, not to mention the endless wait and queue to get on the ride. Besides which, as our second speaker has told you, there is nothing special about going on rides for most showgoers, as they have experienced this many times before. The second negative speaker has tried to tell you that the show is Adelaide's only amusement park. This is wrong, as you can get all of the things at the show outside of the show and around Adelaide in a single day with cheaper costs and far less crowds. For example, take a 1-hour trip to Victor Harbour and you've got rides, great local food, shops to buy toys, the horse-drawn tram. In fact, there are even more things to do than at the show. The point is, there's nothing special at the show anymore. It can all be gotten elsewhere, any time of the year. The second negative speaker has also tried to tell you that the show attracts 500,000 people every year. Therefore, the show still retains its wonder. The negative team's logic is flawed. Just because an event attracts a large amount of people is not evidence that it has wonder. There is a big difference between wonder and something that is perceived as just fun. Of course, people, especially children and teenagers, will still want to go to the show because there are cheap plastic toys, greasy junk food, and amusement rides. It's exactly the same reason most kids would not pass up the opportunity to go to McDonald's. But the fact is, this kind of fun is short-lived, superficial, therefore far from wondrous. The second negative speaker has also tried to rebut that if safety measures weren't in place, what would happen? This is wrong. This is wrong, as the safety measures do need to be in place, which is unfortunate because they will be causing large queues at the show. This evening, our first speaker has told you that the show's wonder used to stem from its unadulterated focus on our state's awe-inspiring natural produce and rural activities. But now, this wonder has been ruthlessly snuffed out by high prices and rapacious commercialism, with show bags leading the way. Our second speaker has articulated 2 more very powerful points: that the show no longer offers the plethora of unique and special experiences it used to, and the once-upon-a-time feel-good atmosphere of the show has been suffocated by a pernicious layer of anxiety. So, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, there can be no doubt that the Royal Adelaide Show has lost its wonder. Lamentably, a visit to the show these days is no longer Alice in Wonderland, but is more aptly described as Alice in Plunderland. Thank you.
call upon the third negative speaker, Ben Garth.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen. The topic for our debate is that the Adelaide Show has lost its wonder. We, the negative team, believe that this statement is false. The first affirmative speaker has tried to tell you that it's all a corporation. This is wrong, because why would there be so many things to do for free? You don't go to the show if you don't expect to spend. Furthermore, temporary wonder is still wonder, and the show bags are brought down in price at the end of the show. He also tried to say that there's no parking, but there are 9 other places to park, including truck, car, or alternative parking. He also tried to say that it costs too much. This is wrong, because as of 2017, there are over 100 things to do at the Adelaide Show for free. I won't list them all, but some of them include the Vietnamese garden display, the Chardon display, the State Shearers Championship, and the V8 Ute Challenge. You can also get involved in many things, including the Golden North Ice Cream Eating Competition, the Australian Air Force Cadets Flight Simulator, and the Bank SA Farmyard Nursery, as well as the 93 other things to do for free. This proves that you can have a great day out with the family at the show and not burn a hole in your wallet. Furthermore, the expensive attractions aren't actually that expensive. Let's say you have an average family, 2 adults and 2 children. You can get into the show for a very reasonable price because it will be worth the wonder. And if you pre-purchase, it is even cheaper. 9 News did a report about a show for under $100 using 2 adults and 2 children. Therefore, it demonstrates you can go to the show without spending big and still have a great day out. The second affirmative speaker tried to say that there are other festivals and places to go. Why go to the Adelaide Show when there are plenty of other festivals to go? There's the Adelaide Film Festival, Feast Festival, Royal Adelaide Festival, and even the Fringe. So why go to the Adelaide Show? Because the Adelaide Show has more to offer for more people, more ages, and for a better price. Would you find a petting zoo at the Adelaide Film Festival? Would you find an art gallery at the Feast? I very much doubt it. The point is that the Adelaide Show is the second biggest show in Australia and the biggest in SA. They have animal competitions, rides, attractions, art galleries, petting zoos, food, drink, show bags, and live music. The show extended its amount of days from 9 to 10 in 2014. They must be doing something right. And as my first speaker already explained, it presents the public with something new. The second affirmative speaker has tried to say that the Adelaide Show is stressed. This is wrong, because the bag searches that are actually there at the Adelaide Show are for safety and will eliminate the threat of terrorism, even if it reminded the patrons of it in the first place. They also said that there is barely any safety, but following the tragic events in 2014, the safety has been beefed up, with 11 individual safety inspectors checking all the rides and attractions for 2 weeks. The third affirmative speaker has tried to rebut, saying that the show wasn't extended due to its popularity. You can't rebut this. If it was all about business, you wouldn't extend it. And in his reasoning for his final rebuttal, he failed to realise parents do have enough grip on their children. Our first negative speaker tonight has talked to you about the wide variety of attractions and how they appeal to all ages. He also said that the Adelaide Show is Adelaide's theme park, and he mentioned that the Adelaide Show has been extended to 10 days as of 2014. Our second speaker talked to you about how record participations and competitions at the show must mean that it has not lost its wonder. He also talked to you that the strong attendance rates must mean that the show is as strong as ever. So, Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion for my team, we believe that the Adelaide Show has not lost its wonder due to the overwhelming participation in competitions and the sheer amount of people that go to it. Thank you.